sales schedule. Want to know more about which musical instruments to pick? Why not check out RJ Guitars branches at www.rjguitarcenter.com/branches or call our hotline 0977-812-1186. #RJ ang sarap tugtugin.
You are watching the multi-awarded Radio Bandido TV on Channel 224 Sky Cable and TV Plus boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Informing, advising, and entertaining the Filipinos and OFWs around the world. Streaming live on www.facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. or on YouTube, channel RJAM News. To all Teleradio Bandido viewers and listeners, you can now watch Teleradio Bandido on our new YouTube channel, RJAM News. Hit the subscribe button and like the video. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified when a new video gets uploaded. Don't miss out on our dynamite lineup.
Tuturo, guro, turo-turong pangguro, sari-sari ang hain, napapanahong usapin, sagot sa suliranin, sama-samang hanapin, tuloy kayo.
Good evening, mga katribo.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miss Debbie.
Hello.
Today is the first Monday of May. O, sana po ay nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan habang nakikinig sa aming show today. Kung kayo ay naghahanda ng inyong hapunan or naghahapunan na, go ahead lang po. Sasamahan namin kayo in the next 30 minutes. Ako po si Isabel Martin from Ateneo de Manila University, and this is Radyo Turo Guro, masarapang usapan, hapunan ay karunungan.
Yes, good evening po sa ating lahat. Good evening, Doc Marts. Ako naman po si Miss Devi Paes mula sa Ateneo de Manila University din. At welcome back mga katribo, bagong buwan na naman, Mayo. For tonight's episode, makakasama po natin si Sir Ramil Magno mula sa Bagong Silangan High School sa Quezon City. Maririnig po natin mamaya mula sa kanya how we can use the multimodal approach in teaching, writing. Ano nga po ulit ang subject natin? Well, today is Monday and every Monday our subject is English. Yes. Mga katribo, please feel free to comment on our show habang kayo ay nanonood. Siguro sa Facebook Tribe today, dun po kayo mag-comment. Tribe stands for Teachers Redefining and Innovating for Better Education. Baka po may mga tanong kayo tungkol sa English language teaching na kaya naming sagutin ni Doc Marts in a future episode. We would also like to let you know that Teleradyo Bandido is now on YouTube channel RJAM News. So please subscribe to RJAM News by clicking the notification button para naman lagi tayong updated sa mga breaking news o sa mga bagong uploaded videos. So bago po natin umpisahan ang ating discussion for our episode tonight, balikan po natin ang discussion natin last week. Nung nakaraang Monday po mga katribo, our topic was on scaffolding. Sa kanyang share ko lang portion, Doc Marts explained that scaffolding in education are techniques sa teaching na ginagamit natin to guide our students forward from point A to point B. Sabi pa ni Doc Marts na ito yung mga step-by-step guide for our students so that they can improve their performance and eventually become independent learners. Pero ang reminder po sa atin ni Doc Marts ay iba po ito sa spoon feeding. Nag-share din po si Doc Marts ng ilan sa mga common techniques in scaffolding tulad ng pagbigay ng simplified version ng lesson or ng assignment or ng activity then gradually increasing the complexity until such a time na naiintindihan na ng mga students on their own. Yung special guest po namin last episode na si Ma'am Cindy Sikat ay nag-share din ng kanyang teaching strategies using scaffolding, which is one way is using the students' mother tongues for a lesson on reading a short story from Kapampangan local literature. Naku, nakakatuwa po yung kanyang pag-present ng Miss Fatupats. Tama ba yun?
Fatupats.
Fatupats ni Juan Crisostomo Soto. Nakakatuwa po yung aming diskusyon nun. Sana pwede nyo pong balikan or pwede nyo pong i-review kung hindi nyo po na subaybayan sa YouTube channel ng DZRJ. So si Ma'am Cindy Sikat ended her sharing by reminding us that we teachers are our students' scaffolds as they learn in life. Yan po.
Yes.
Yan po ang ating review. Doc Marts, okay na ba yun?
Very good review.
Thank you very much. Yung mga katribo, ready na tayo for our next segment.
Ready.
SKL. Share ko lang.
Okay, go ahead, Doc Marts.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Debbie, for that review of last week's episode. Mga katribo, if you missed our previous episodes, madali lang po to catch up sa ating teacher training. All you have to do is go to Facebook or YouTube and key in Radyo Turo Guro plus the date in the search bar. Sa YouTube po naman, mahahanap ninyo ang Radyo Turo Guro sa RJAM News. And please don't forget to subscribe para po makakatch up kayo sa mga sessions natin. Now, dear teachers, our episode today will focus on an important area of 21st century learning. Malungkot pong isipin na marami sa ating mga policies and practices today ay naiwan pa po sa 20th century.
Oh my.
Aminin na po natin mga katribo na kahit na pumapasok na tayo sa ikatlong dekada ng 21st century,
Yes.
di pa talaga natin binabago ang ating mga policies and practices. It's possible naman talaga, dear teachers, na marami sa atin ang hindi talaga aware sa difference between 20th century education and 21st century education. Or siguro, aware tayo, pero hindi natin alam kung ano yung gagawin. Kasi ang mga school systems po natin are still structured according to 20th century conventions. No? So allow me to share this table lang po na ipapakita ko din. Actually, ipinakita ko na ito sa previous episode natin. Ito po yung table that shows the difference between didactic pedagogy and reflexive pedagogy that Miss Debbie and I learned when we took a course, naalala mo ba yun? At the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. Ito yung course that delivered by Professor Cope and Professor Calancis on e-learning ecologies. If you look at the two columns, yung didactic pedagogy, that represents 20th century conventions. So ito yung mga medyo napag-iwanan na, no? Ito yung mga learning as confined in time and space. Kailangan talaga may sa classroom ka. Merong transmission pedagogy, also known as banking education ni Freire. Merong ang mga assessment ay all standardized and summative. Knowledge is confined to the individual. And then the focus of the content is on single level, no? Single level content. Ang curriculum usually ay one size fits all. Saka yung mga literacies, traditional academic literacies. Ngayon, punta tayo sa 21st century, yung reflexive pedagogy. Ano ba yung pinakamalaking diferensya ng 20th sa 21st century? It's the presence of the internet, di ba? Internet connectivity.
Tama.
Ngayon, we can actually learn anytime, anywhere, kahit wala sa classroom.
Yes.
Yan nangyayari ngayon. Learners now are not just receivers of knowledge, they are actually knowledge producers. Sa assessment naman po, tuloy-tuloy ang assessment. Dapat ang feedback ay recursive. Ang talino po ngayon, hindi to individual. Talino is collaborative. It lies in group intelligence. Content now is focused on not just knowledge about something in a single level way, but metacognition, knowing when you know or you don't know.
Mm-mm.
Learning is now differentiated.
Mm-mm.
Pero ang napakahalaga na pag-uusapan natin today is
Mm-mm.
multiliteracy. So ito po ang focus ng ating show.
Mm-mm.
Today, our guest will show one aspect of multiliteracies, and that is teaching writing using the multimodal approach.
Wow, napaka-exciting.
So, Miss Debbie, shall we call in our guest?
Yes, thank you, Doc Marts, for your very exciting, very meaningful share ko lang. At gaya nga ng sinabi namin kanina, nagbabalik po ang ating special guest, walang iba kundi si Sir Ramil Magno mula sa Bagong Silangan High School from Quezon City. Welcome back, Sir Ram.
Welcome, Sir
Good
Ram.
evening. Good evening, Sir Ram. Naka-mute
Hello po,
yata
good
kaya.
Okay.
Good evening
Good
po.
to see you. Good to see you again. So ayan mga katribo, ready na tayo for our next segment.
TMI, try mo ito.
Yes, go ahead, Sir Ramil.
Yes po, good evening po, Doc Marts and Miss Devi.
Good
And thank you for inviting me again here sa Radyo Turuguro. And hello po to all our katribo. Happy first Monday of May po sa inyo.
Wow, yes.
Okay. For today po, I just want to share with you my topic when I presented my MA thesis 3 years
Wow.
ago.
Wow.
Isip ko, grabe, ang bilis na 3 years.
Oo, 3 years na
3
pala.
years na nakalipas. And yes, and that time po, siguro 1 hour ko to dinefend, but this time, i-share ko lang yung ibang parts lang ng paper ko kasi medyo mahaba and technical. Wala naman siguro thesis defense po ngayon.
Wala naman magtatanong. Walang magtatanong.
Iisipin ko kung tatanong tayo o hindi.
Okay, so simulan po natin sa isang tanong. Ano po ba yung idea natin sa isang essay, mga katribo? Naalala niyo po ba, mga katribo, yung paggamit po natin dati ng formal theme? Kung ako,
Yes.
natin.
Ako, oo.
Usong-uso yun dati. Ngayon, hindi ko alam kung may gumagamit pa. Naalala ko pa dati, kinakabahan ako pag binalik na yung formal theme namin kasi magiging duguan ang laban. Kasi yan kasi yung traditional view, di ba? Magsusulat ka, then
Yes.
i-edit, then you have to revise. Pero dito, according to Kress, in one of his studies, ang traditional setup kasi ng pagsulat ng essay ay unidirectional and sequential. Meaning, yung direction ng mga parts ay pababa lang from the title, introduction, body, conclusion. So, yun yung nagiging traditional pattern and sequence. Meron tayong tinatawag na linear pattern. And mostly, ayan nga po, alphanumeric-based communication. Meaning po, mga katribo, puro lang siya letters and numbers.
Yes.
And interrupted by subheads, yung mga footnotes. Parang yung way we learn writing today is the same way our grandparents did in the past. Ganun
That's
na ganun na na.
right.
However, dito po sa next natin na our students nowadays are labeled as multimodal and multiliterate. Yan ba yung nasabi ni Doc Marts kanina. Na exposed na po sila sa technology, images, design, mga colors. Pero in the classroom, we still teach them the very traditional way of teaching essay. I mean, of writing essay. I mean, so merong gap, sabi dito ni Jewett, na may gap between how writing is taught in the classroom and how writing is seen outside the school. So magkaiba na ng practice kasi outside the school, our students can explore non-linguistic modes. These are equally important then in the meaning making. So, tingnan natin yung sa next natin na kahit sa elementary Sa elementary, di ba,
Ang cute.
mas ano siya, mas visually appealing pag mga infographics gaya nito.
Yes.
Example, yung how to brush your teeth, yung wash your hands. Kasi imagine mo, katribo, no, isa tong essay or memo. I-present natin sa kanila.
Ayoko na yung word na memo na yan.
Very text-heavy, baka tulugan lang tayo.
Tama. Hindi papansinin pag text-heavy. Tama.
So sa writing, hindi lang linguistic. Hindi lang siya alphanumeric communication. Kasi yun yung traditional. We can go beyond. At pwede na natin gamitin yung mga non-linguistic modes. Gaya nito, mayroon tayong colors, arrangement, symbols.
Yes.
May role na yan sa ating writing class. And yung linguistic and non-linguistic elements, dyan papasok ang multimodality. Because multimodality is the process of integrating different resources to make and represent meaning.
Okay.
Kaya ngayon, alamin natin kung ano nga ba yung advantages ng mga elements na to sa ating classroom. Dito, meron tayong question. So, ito ay isa sa mga statement. One of
Ito
my
bang research question mo?
Apo. Ayan. How do high school learners make use of semiotic resources to image, text, layout?
Yun ang
Is
ibig sabihin ng semiotic
a
resources.
statement of opinion in a composition class. Yes po, i-unlock natin yung mga medyo technical terms, mga no-script na
Yes.
mga terms.
Oo.
Pag minention po natin yung mga semiotic resources, mga katribo, ito yung mga ways, modes, resources of representing information to compose a text. So, ang linguistic or non-linguistic. So, example po ng mga semiotic resources like yung gestures, may meaning na, yung sound, yung signs, yung images. Itong mga resources na ito ay nagke-create din ng meaning. Pero in my study, concentrate lang ako sa tatlo, yung nakaganyan, yung image, text, and layout.
Okay.
So, doon lang nag-concentrate. Malalaman natin, ano ba yung mga naging roles nitong mga images, text, and layout sa print multimodal text. Then yung I use the statement of opinion kasi yun yung tinarget ko na skill. Kasi yun yung sa curriculum guide namin. Okay. So simulan natin sa sa images. Yan. Ano yung mga roles ng images? To be honest mga katribo, sobrang dami nito. Pero namili lang ako ng ilan. Like for example, ito yung images are used for representational purposes. Kasi for example, itong infographic na nakikita natin, ito po ay gawa mismo ng estudyante.
Gawa ng student.
Ang galing naman. Ang ganda.
Ang tanong po dyan,
mo yan?
yes po, yan po yung ginawa ng estudyante talaga.
Ang galing.
What is your stand on same-sex marriage? So ito yung ginawa yung poster.
Okay.
Yung poster na to ay nai-present niya yung knowledge of the world kasi yung rainbow, makita po natin mga katribo na gumamit siya ng rainbow yung rainbow na dito. Yung rainbow, nabigyan siya ng another layer of meaning kasi ang alam natin, rainbow is just an arc of colors, di ba?
Right.
Yes, hanggang doon lang.
Oo.
Yung iba sabi may pot of gold pa daw sa dulo.
Sana, no?
Sana.
Pero the student here used the rainbow to represent the LGBTQ community.
Right.
Kasi ito na yung alam niyang symbol, yung rainbow flag na tinatawag.
Yes.
Bali sa multimodality, ang tawag natin dyan ay semiotic metaphors and symbolism.
Okay.
So, makita rin pala natin metaphor and symbolism kahit images ang gamit natin.
Right.
Kaya mga katribo, pwede rin yung explanatory purposes kasi na-observe ko na the more photos they include, the more meanings they want to convey. So, nakaka-add siya ng mas maraming scenarios, nagkakaroon ng pattern of repetition, nakikita natin yung repetition. So, hindi lang isang photo yung kanyang nilagay. Kaya, mga katribo, yung images, very helpful po talaga siya to construct meaning. Kaya pwede po nating i-consider yan.
Ang ganda.
Yung second naman po natin ay yung text. So, syempre, hindi ito nawawala sa composition.
Writing.
Yes.
Pero, ito ay isa ring poster na ginawa rin ng estudyante.
Wow.
And,
estudyante rin yan.
Opo, ang naging purpose na dito ng text ay to identify. Information. Like for example, dito, ilan yung students na nandyan, tapos may temporal information na kailan nangyari. Like tomorrow, yesterday.
Okay. Alright.
Yung mga prepositions na hindi naman nakikita sa photo. Kaya ito ay ginamit para magbigay siya ng, kumbaga, explanation tungkol doon sa topic na yon. Kaya siya ay naging caption dito. And mas na-elaborate yung topic using linguistically encoded modes. Kaya talagang may role pa rin dito yung text natin. And yung last naman po natin na na-observe ko ay dito sa layout. Dito natuwa ako na ang layout din pala ay talagang nagke-create din ng meaning Like for example, another infographic, meron ditong na-observe ko yung color harmony. Sabi, stop wasting lives. Yung ginamit yung color, di ba? Red, white, black, something study, white for peace.
Oo.
Bakit
Very
kaya-
dramatic, no? Very dramatic
Oo.
yung
Imagine
layout.
niyo, no, bakit kaya hindi siya gumamit ng rainbow dito?
Right.
Walang rainbow, walang green. Diba? So, yung color, nag-add siya dun sa meaning ng multimodal text.
Yes.
And even yung informational value sa
Mm-mm.
ano natin. Ito nakakatuwa din na
Ang cute.
traditionally
Mm-mm.
linear. Pero dito, wala siyang linearity of fact
Oo.
compared doon sa traditional setup.
Right.
Kasi yung placement, nakadepende siya sa informational value. So yung main idea, ma-observe po natin, nasa gitna.
Yes.
Oo.
Then yung supporting, nasa periphery na lang. Bali, kung i-compare natin, traditionally, ito yung may thesis statement,
Yes.
Supporting details.
Yes.
So dito, iba na yung presentation ng topic.
Oo.
Well, mga katribo, with this, na-validate ko yung important roles ng images, text, and layout sa multimodal approach. Ngayon, ang question dito ay, paano natin malalaman na coherent pa rin ang multimodal text?
Oo.
May mga skills ba tayong hindi nako-consider?
Nice.
Nung nakita ko yung mga photos, yung ginawa nilang outputs, ginamit ko to yung framework ni Jico, na complete pa rin eh. Nandun pa rin yung context.
Yes.
Kasi yung local issues, original, and thoughtful, nandun pa rin yung substance kasi meron tayong supporting details na very substantial and appropriate. Yung organization, makikita pa rin natin kasi before, lang tayo, relationship lang of one sentence to another. Pero dito makita natin sa organization, merong clear overview, may logical and smooth sequence of the resources.
Right.
And yung style and language, of course, andun pa rin yung grammar, spelling, punctuations. And yung last level, yung intersemiotic complementarity. Yung effective ba yung encoding ng text, layout, and image. Yung visuals and layout ba ay well-positioned in relation to the written text kung tama yung pagkakapresent. After conducting this po, I realized na the emphasis of coherence po is not on the language alone, but on a combination of different modes.
Yes.
Kaya little by little, nagkakaroon na tayo ng cultural shifts in meaning of writing. And this study then suggests na the manner of writing is not always linear, it's not always sequential, because in multimodality, yung writing is non-sequential and the logic of displays in space is important. Dati fixed, ngayon open na, relatively open. Pero meron lang ako syempre reminder sa ating lahat, so next natin na it is important to note na the focus po of this approach is not an attempt to rule out the importance of lexical items in the L2 classroom.
Okay.
So, hindi natin, parang inire-reinforce lang natin yung important roles that other semiotic resources like yung images or layout play in the development of the L2 writing skills. So, yung practical application natin dito, ang multimodal approach can be used as an added-on activity.
Okay.
Added-on activity.
Okay.
Because it requires students to pay attention to linguistic and non-linguistic resources as equally important. And yes, this helps me validate that, okay, for my last one, na lexical item is neither the soul nor the dominant sign system in the composition classroom.
Okay.
Thus, multimodal teacher should pay attention to linguistic and non-linguistic resources. By doing so, changes occur in teaching practices already in the 21st century ESL classroom.
Yes.
Ang galing!
Tama. 21st
Wow! 21st century classroom na tayo. Salamat, Sir Ram, sa iyong napaka-exciting na sharing for our episode today. Napapaisip tuloy ako para sa ating next segment.
TNT, Tanong ng Tribo.
Huwag kang mag-alala, Sir Ram. Hindi po ito a thesis defense. Na-pass mo na ang iyong thesis. So, napapaisip lang talaga ako after your presentation kasi medyo na-excite ako. Napaisip ako na ang ibig ba sabihin nito? Although may sinabi ka dun sa second to the last slide mo, pero na-excite ako na pwede bang hindi na tayo magturo ng traditional writing, ng composition writing as we knew it, as we know it today
Oo,
na
hirap i-check eh.
oo, yung 3-part team, 5-part team, thesis statement, supporting details, pwede bang hindi na ituro yon?
O yung
Ano sa
three-part
tingin mo?
theme. Opo, it's a good question po. Usually, ayan po talaga yung common question dito sa multimodal writing.
Oo. Can
Again,
it take the place of
opo,
the traditional composition?
again, yung multimodal approach po, as I mentioned po, can be used as an added-on,
Okay.
added-on activity in the
Okay.
composition classroom.
Mm-mm.
And we're trying to say na, we're not trying to say na old setup of writing is no longer needed. Kailangan pa rin yun, yung basic foundation of writing,
Yes.
teach
Okay.
them the spelling, yung organization, yung logical flow of ideas, content, and so on sa 3-part theme na yan. However, syempre, as 21st century teachers, we should also try to explore yung mga approaches that will help students compose the text more carefully and critically. To be honest po, ang kagandahan nga sa multimodal, dahil may layout na, the students will just weigh all facts, then they will just include the important ones lang. Sa traditional writing, kakabaan eh.
Yeah.
Kakabaan ang ginagawa.
Kaya mahirap i-check, no?
Totoo.
Talagang i-analyze nila kung ano lang yung kailangang ilagay doon sa layout. Then,
Oo.
they are given the opportunities to understand these resources. And paano sila nagpo-contribute para magkaroon ng unified argument.
So, effective language use pa rin.
Yes.
No?
Ako may
Applying
tanong.
Okay, go ahead,
Kasi
Doc
nakita
Marks.
ko ang gaganda ng mga infographic. Paano ginagawa ng mga bata yun?
Oo
Paano
nga.
anong app or anong, di ba siya mahirap para sa mga bata?
Marami pong pwede, maraming mga resources. Pero ang ginagamit ko po ay Adobe InDesign.
Adobe.
Okay, Adobe
Pwede niyo
InDesign.
Libre yan,
Or
libre. Libre.
Ang Adobe InDesign, may free trial po to. May free
Okay.
trial. Pwede rin po silang pwede lang i-purchase din. Kung medyo RK si bata. Okay. Maraming klase po kasi ito eh. Pwede nilang i-download yung Adobe InDesign tapos ipa-partner sa Adobe Photoshop. Pero sa students to, they use Adobe InDesign kasi marami siyang features like yung pen tool na mas malinis yung pag-create ng shapes. Yung interface mas malawak. Then yung pag-adjust ng mga shapes mas smooth, mas maganda talaga siya sa layout. Tapos pwede mo pa siyang i-partner sa Adobe Photoshop. Pang-advanced po kasi to editors.
Yeah.
Pero in case na ma-master nila yan, ang daming opportunities kasi ito yung ginagamit sa paggawa ng dyaryo, sa brochures. Malay mo sila na next time mag-layout ng
Actually, sa mga bata, kayang-kaya nila.
Yes, oo. Napaka-confident. Yes, sa mga bata.
21st century talaga sila.
Oo.
Yes, I agree. At yung mga bata po, mas magaling silang mag-edit at mag-explore.
Yes, tama. Mas willing sila to take risks and to explore
That's right.
Yes.
Wow.
Naku, salamat, Sir Ram.
Thank you so much.
Busog na naman tayo sa ating episode tonight, sa ating discussion. Baka may gusto kayong batiin, Sir Ram.
Ayun lang po. So, good evening. And I just want to greet po my fellow teachers at Bagong Silangan High School. And syempre lahat ng students ko watching right now, to my family, friends, and fellow school paper advisors in Quezon City. Pati rin yung mga classmates ko, MA and PhD. Hello po.
Yes. Good evening.
So, Miss Cheche po, siya po yung advisor, thesis advisor. Watching right now. Thank you very much.
Nagpi-PhD na po, Miss Cheche. Dr. Cheche.
Yes, Dr. Cheche Suarez, good evening sa inyo. Kayo, Doc Marts, meron ba kayong gustong batiin?
Wala naman. Mayan Perfecto, sana okay na ang iyong kamay.
Hello, Doc Marian. Naku, salamat again, Sir Ram. At maraming salamat po sa SALT Institute ng Ateneo, AHA Foundation, our executive producers, Ms. Rachel Nang and Mr. Jack Nang Jr. At lahat po kayong nanunood at nakikinig. Thank you, dear teachers, for all your hard work and dedication during these very challenging times. Please join us tomorrow for Math with Teacher Mac and Teacher Rita. And next week, again, magsama-sama po ulit tayo dito for another episode in English Language Teaching. Ito po ang Radyo Turo Guro. Masarap ang usapan, hapunan ay karunungan. Bye, everyone!
Bye-bye!
Bye, Doc Mart! Salamat, Sir Ram! Salamat po!
Thank you, sir.
para sa'yo.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.